Dear Sergey, welcome to the third hour. So you can start, you can continue. Please.
All right, I have a lot more information there. I will try to limit myself only to core information and try to share also with you the personal research that I have been conducting for these couple of months. So I got some information, collected the data and analyzed that, and I came up with a research. So I hope that I will have time to share that with you. If not, so I will upload that for your reference later on. I guess that we'll have time for evaluating that. Okay, we have stopped at the loyalty, saying that if we treat the talents as customers, then we need to nurture them because they need to be nurtured. They are talented people. Otherwise, if we won't do that, we are not going to retain them. So loyalty in this case means that successful organizations do not take the loyalty of their talents for granted. Again, this is ongoing process. We can't be satisfied with, let's say, one-time incentives that we have come up with toward the talents. It has to be an ongoing process. They constantly try to recruit and keep the talents, and they have to have think tanks at every level. So stimulating intellectual activities, stimulating their improvement has to be a practice. It doesn't have to be like this. My stakeholder doesn't want any ideas produced by any person at any level. I don't need, because I have special people for those. I guess that this is the road to nowhere. Of course, I'm not the person who is going to, let's say that I'm not going to disgrace that stakeholder, because they're doing their own kind of thing. So, I mean, but if the approach is changed, it's going to be much more beneficial. And in this case also to create a loyalty and a mutual commitment of employer and employee has to be on the scene to characterize a successful organization. So if let's say that at any level, this kind of commitment or this kind of sharing same interest will be done, then this organization will have great chances for competitive advantage. There's one of the ideas that was expressed by Bob Collin, director of Great People in Inuit, saying that if you lose great people, you lose success. That's one of the simple ideas, I guess, that many businessmen, many stakeholders have to at least think about that. It means that the organization must foster an atmosphere that makes talents want to stay. I also think that this is not a difficult thing to understand, but sometimes doing this or treating their talents as potential customers, as internal customers, can be quite difficult, challenging thing for businesses. So, as we said before, treating customers like talents is one of the things, and talents as customers, vice versa, is one of the beneficial way to do that. Then, of course, the companies have to compensate talents as their preferred suppliers, right? So paying them decently and creating decent job environment is quite a useful thing in here. So they have to offer the right compensation, including rewards and recognition. Again, in this case, with the word compensation, I don't mean only material compensation, only the salaries and bonuses. Different kinds of incentives, different kind of rewards and appraisal is going to be put here. So meaningful performance appraisals and those ones that can the talent can benefit and put in their professional portfolio is also one of the things that the companies who think about competitive advantage, they have to understand and they have to put that. Right, jobs, especially jobs and functions, of course, they have to meet the talents of people. and they have to appeal to talented people. So it doesn't have to be a boring or routine something. I mean, you will try to find something interesting in there, something attractive for talented people. Okay, so routine jobs can be done automatically, let's say that by other people. So right person for the right job is also one of the criteria that have to be used here. As far as I have already referenced with my wife's experience in one of the biggest Malaysian oil and gas supplier, they do it like this. During the internship period, they put a person in different departments and see. And they also want reports from that person and from the department chair in order what sort of contribution is coming there and how the person finds their job. If they are happy with the department, if they produce well. I remember that my wife told me about the situation that she met a guy from the financial department who, after 2 years of his successful work at that department, decided to quit that and move to the marketing department. And when my wife asked him why he made this decision, he said that, okay, I thought that I was done with the finances and what I was doing was a routine job. I mean, I did lots of things and I didn't have any kind of chance to develop myself anymore at that job. So I decided to do something else, something that is quite more challenging for me, but also very much important. So that is why the person decided to move to another department, and the company, which is the more important, the company decided to support his decision, and they give him a chance. Now he's working in the marketing department, coming with the ultimate contribution in there. So that's one of the core decisions to keep talents also. Otherwise, the company, if the company decided not to move him to another department, they would probably lose that one. And would it be the chance to substitute the talent with another one? That's a great question, and no one can answer that. So if the company is lucky, but again, if they lose talents all the time, then the employer branding will be at very much risk. And of course, for keeping talents, the companies have to choose the right location to attract and to retain the talented, the right person. So, keeping talents is not a simple question, of course. As I said before, it should be a systematic approach, and we can't rely only on one channel in there, channel, because it has to be a system that includes different elements, different components like environment, material compensation, and also the recognition and rewards. And as we have discussed in the second section of our lesson, I challenged and I argued the question why here in Turkey, as far as I have seen, just a few companies stimulate people to produce any ideas, to create any kind of a contribution, any initiatives that the company then can use professionally. I think this is absolutely idle practice, because if the person is coming up with an alternative solution for their own job functions, I guess that the person, especially working for a few years at a particular job, at a particular section, they understand their job much better than, let's say, the top manager who might not even know about that. I know, for example, general managers who are coming from, let's say, that food and beverage department. Do they have that much knowledge, let's say, that in human resources or in the maintenance or in financial department? If they do, that's okay, that's fine. But generally, they don't, and they didn't have a chance to do that. But as you have correctly said, that they think that they know everything. And this is one of their problems, actually, I have to say. So, what else are the other elements of keeping talents in the company and forming their loyalty? Of course, proper training, development, and succession planning is going to be one of the ways. Providing a suitable research facility, especially those ones who have this kind of element of their work. I mean, if especially if they're IT-oriented or science-oriented kind of activity, we need to have those kind of facilities so the talents can easily use that. Of course, we need to balance the age, the gender, the race, the color, whatever it could be. I mean, the color, for example, is not that applicable here in Turkey, but still, if you think about the gender, if you think about the race, if you think also about the age and experience, I mean, talents have to be treated equally, and everyone has to be given a chance. So that's important thing. Creating challenging environment or excitement at their jobs, that is going to be good. In this case, may I ask you a question? When I say creating a challenging environment, do you understand it in a negative way or in a positive way?
If I am sure of myself, I understand in a positive way.
In a positive way. Why do you think that challenge can be a positive thing, and how we can benefit?
Because I have enough self-confidence. I can manage any kind of challenging things. And period, I have done like this. So if I trust myself, I will say this is a unique opportunity in terms of positive approach. But if I'm a lazy worker or whatever, if I have some fears, if I am not sure to see myself in the company for a long time, then in a negative way.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It means that many talents see the challenging environment as the core of their excitement at work. That's what it is. Challenge doesn't mean that the problem that is going to ruin or something that is going to destruct you. No, the one that is going to be probably the situation that is looking for, let's say, alternative solution, alternative type of decision. That's right. And later on, I will show you one of my favorite examples, actually, in the business. The guy who is all the time creating this challenging environment for his subordinates, and that is why maybe he's one of the most, let's say, praised business leaders out in there. And you might probably guess whom I'm speaking about.
Let's see.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let me intrigue you a little bit with the example. All right. A few more ways to keep the talents. Of course, we say that the atmosphere, the positive and praisal atmosphere, in which the talents can communicate without a fear of reprisal, right? So, like I did, and what was my negative experience in that. So, to provide time to sit and cultivate ideas, this is a very, very strategic decision. If the companies do that, they have good chances to keep their talents. And of course, to create special bonds with talents through adventures, sports, games, contests, parties, celebrations, and any kind of, as we say, extracurriculum activities. Because we're coming from academic world, you understand what is extracurriculum. I mean, in any companies, engineering companies, whatever companies, they have also to take care about it. In many companies, as far as I know, if you have a job 9 to 5, I mean, after 5 o'clock, your belongingness to the company finishes and you feel yourself absolutely free. Is that right? I don't think that a good company will ever do that. All right. I guess that you've heard about Richard Branson.
Yes.
One of the most prolific businessmen, a leader, a creator of the ideas, innovator. I mean, he's absolutely brilliant in his ideas and he's very energetic. And he created, let me say that, a new type of business style, of business ethics for a businessman and the qualities that probably a modern businessman should have. I don't think that, every businessman, every organizer, every manager has to follow Branson's example, but this is just an example for us. So if you want to follow that, why not? And let me ask you a question. You might have probably heard about his methods. For example, one of the way how he chooses talents for his job is, can you continue my idea if you know about that? Let me give you some more information about that. If you look here, you will give a clue. Have you heard about that?
I know the person and I know the airway, but that's all. So very limited information.
When he is choosing his top managers, he is taking those people and they fly with the airplane into the sky and they jump with a parachute. And he looks at those people saying, trying to notice if people are, let's say, so much afraid of that, even if they haven't done that, if they feel themselves so much uncomfortable, then they might not probably the right people for him, because these guys always challenging, challenging them, creating their challenging environment. So, but if the people are behaving, let's say, the decent way, according to his views, he's going to work with them. So this is an unusual way, maybe not that much traditional, but this is for me an example of how a company can create some challenging situation for people. And look, if they are successful in those, okay, in this case, then we're going to continue with that person. If the person doesn't, let's say, survive in parentheses, of course, doesn't survive in a challenging situation, then it might not probably the best person for the option. Okay, so let me continue with some characteristics of talents. I guess that I will have time for my personal also results and research, but here I also have 30 more slides. I will guess
so
that
you have around 13 minutes. You can skip some of the slides if you want.
Well, they're quite important. I will try to get faster. And if we think about, I also have 60 more slides in my previous employer brand presentation. So I think that by the end of the day, we'll have something to be occupied with. So please spare your free time then for my seminars. Okay. So I will try to limit myself to only the core information. One of the characteristics, or a few of the characteristics that we need to speak about, is that talents can't be owned forever. They can't be owned at all, and they can't be kept forever, even purchased temporarily, unless you satisfy them properly. This is what we have to understand. And there is no guarantee of lifetime employment for, of these most critical assets. In the previous lecture, we have mentioned this Japanese type of attitude that a person thinks that one of the best professional happiness is to start and to stay with the company till the end. But here in Turkey, in Europe, in Russia, in the United States, people do not think like this. Their loyalty to the company is very much measurable, and it can easily be finished if the company doesn't provide sufficient employment characteristics, let's say so, in a very general way. Corporate growth here depends on the growth of individual talents, and talents grow faster when the organization grows vigorously. So sometimes the risk is, if the talents grow faster than the company, then for company, this is the risk that the talents will leave it. And all the time you need to have an eye, and it should be a special person or top managers. The most prolific ones actually usually do that. Like Steve Jobs said that we attract people, we hire people not to tell them what to do. We ask them so they can tell us what to do. So this is the way how the company can keep up with the pace. In this case, if the talents grow, the company has to follow their trend to grow. The company doesn't have to stay three steps behind. No, this is one of the way that if the talents grow professionally, the company has to grow as the corporation, as the entire establishment also. Here, if the proper symbiotic relationship is developed between a talent and organization, then the talents give organization their physical, mental, and even spiritual support. I do believe that far most of the companies, especially here and out there, also in Europe, in the States, they underestimate this sort of symbiotic relationship character. I mean, if those relationship is being nurtured, then you can expect that the talent will give you physical, mental, and even spiritual support. So, what is symbiotic relationship with the talents? We have already mentioned that, and let me give some more ideas about that. So first of all, the company needs to recognize and reward talent properly. Their contribution, and the talents have to understand that their contributions are well praised. The company really deserves and really pays attention on those, and the person, the talent, is praised for that. The organization has to offer profit-sharing plans or stock options to create a sense of ownership. I know that some companies usually do, especially if they're joint stock companies. They put their shares, and some of the top managers and even mid-level managers, they could have some kind of ownership. They have those kind of shares which are being spread. So they feel themselves as the part of the company, owning sometimes a part of it. And that's important also, quite important thing. We also have to measure the team performance and individual performance. And we need to understand that individual performance is the core of the team performance also. Treating as a team, working as a team, and being measured as the performance is important. We need to evaluate the performance, of course. It doesn't have to be like this, that one talented person coming with a high contribution have the same sort of treatment as those ones who do not. No, it doesn't have to be like this. That's the ideal practice. We also need to develop a performance-based, a semi-variable compensation package. Compensation is important, but as we said, as the maintenance factor. We also need to define the responsibility, authority, and accountability for each project that is being developed by the company. And of course, we need to eliminate the people who are not performing well. So those ones who are not contributing or who are not contributors, or who have some kind of desire not to contribute, for the company spirit, for the team spirit, those people have to be eliminated. So then in this case, as far as I told you, we said about that, what is the reason for talents to leave the company? They are not praised well, they are not paid well, they don't feel happy. So what should be the main reason? So as stated in the literature, the number one reason for most talents to leave is when they feel they are not recognized or rewarded for their contribution. So their performance is not well paid, but not well praised, as they feel themselves that their work is out of usage. Especially those ones who feel that they produce a lot of positive things, a lot of contribution to the company, but this contribution is not recognized at all. This is a very sad thing. I know that very well in my personal experience. So I used to work in some of the companies, and I spent a lot of time on, creating some projects, creating some of the ideas, and no one even paid attention on that. That was absolutely disappointing thing. So the lack of contribution, the lack of recognition here can be divided into several categories. It could be social recognition, emotional recognition, and financial recognition also. So if people think that they are not recognized well in these spheres, in these components, so they have a great reason to leave. Why do I have to stay with the company if I am undervalued? So the talent's value is one of the things that the talents will always look in the companies and looking for when they're employed to the companies. And if they feel undervalued or exploited without any kind of a decent appraisal, they will leave that, regardless of how much money you will give them. Again, as we said, that the talents are quite restless and quite mobile. And especially those ones who are confident in their abilities, who are well trained and well qualified, they can easily find their jobs. So it doesn't really matter how much they pay. And then by the end of the day, the company might argue, oh, we paid you well, why do you leave? Because money is not the, let's say that the primary concern here. Money is not the most important factor. And as we said, as I have already mentioned, this is a dual ladder type of relationship or type of element in the symbiotic relationship between organization and the talent. So some organizations create this kind of ladder so talents can climb upwards without even taking the managerial responsibilities. It could be done so especially for those ones who do not feel that they want to do any kind of a managerial responsibilities. I mean, professional development and administrative development, they can accompany, they can go together, but they don't have to be, I mean, all the time the same kind of thing. But keeping in mind that you can grow up to the vice presidential or even the top management level makes your talent stay with a job and contribute, because they will understand that their performance, their ideas, their contribution will be praised well enough, decently within the company. In this case, which is also quite important, job grades and titles for high-level talents on individual contributor ladder for talents should be considered, of course. And as I said, that not all the talents want to be the manager, but the company wants to keep all the talents. And that's what the company has to think about. In this case, managing talents, as we said, that probably is not the best term, because talents don't want to be managed. Talents seek freedom and support. They need to be provided sufficient work environment, circumstances, facilities, chances to contribute, but not just to be managed as, let's say, that ordinary workers. And that's one of the things that I would also like to focus your attention on. Steve Jobs once said, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. It means that if talents are given the power, the possibility to contribute, they will do that. And if the company stimulates this kind of approach, then the company has a great chance to win. Otherwise, it will be like losing their chances. Now, we said that the talents have to be treated as customers, of course. Why? Think about that managing in this context. You can't manage the customers. You only provide them with goods and services they want and they need. You praise them and you nurture them. Why this kind of treatment shouldn't be done with the talents? Because if you treat talents as your customers, why another approach have to be used? No, you determine your customers' requirements. You have to do the same with your talents. You have to look at what they need for producing this kind of ultimate contribution, and you need to provide that as the company, as the business organization. So again, if we treat our talents as customers, it has to be like this all the way. You need to ask your talent what they believe in, and this is the most important thing that the company can do. If it is within the boundaries of the company, let's say that within the vision and the policy of the company and its strategic direction, then you have to ask your talents what they need from you, and then they meet those needs. The company has to meet those needs instantly. So you provide your talent with a sufficient environment, with their needs, the facilities, and you give them the initiative to strive. They will do the rest. That's one of the things. But here, in this case, the same as with customers, you need to be quick. because if you lose your momentum, then you will lose the business type. Again, and managing talent as the skill. I know I have 2 minutes. I will try to limit myself. Okay. Nowadays, there's a very important transformation I need to mention, is that it's not just the human resource context. And nowadays, in many prolific companies, the top managers have to take the initiative in doing this kind of managing talent decision. Again, managing talent is not probably the best thing, but I mean, not the best notion, but still we use that as a traditional notion. And managers here must provide a setting in which talents produce their maximum knowledge and maximum innovation and have their maximum impact. In this case, let me finish by again by Steve Jobs' quote. He said that my job is not to be easy on people. My job is to make them better. So this is how you can treat your talents in order to make them better. Give them a chance to strive, and they will do the rest. Thank you very much. That was it. I have lots more slides, and I have my also research work, but unfortunately my professor is busy and doesn't have like something like 5 more hours for me to.
No, but you can upload both of your seminars, and I can follow the rest of the details. By the way, as I told you before, if Social Science Institute inform us, I will send a message with the help of WhatsApp that you will at least upload the first seminar to Teams program. I will give date and time for this purpose.
All right. All right.
Okay. So thanks for this fruitful seminar again. I hope you enjoyed the course since we are at the end of the semester. And I hope to communicate with you again, and we will cooperate, I hope. So keep in touch, okay? And
yes, I will definitely.
If you want to add something, I can wait for a while.
Okay, first of all, let me thank you for your contribution. I mean, I learned a lot from our seminars, from our discussion, from your lectures, and that was a very critical point. And I do appreciate your mentoring, your supervision to me with my works. And that was a really stimulating environment for me, you know, to produce those ideas. It was quite a challenge because I spent lots of my time, and you know, I just had to stay up to 3 a.m. at night, you know, almost sleeping and trying to correct all of those things. But I guess that contribution was really useful also, and I would like to share those with you, and I will be grateful if you could have a look at those. And I hope that, again, our partnership will continue. So in the next semester, as far as you're going to do this Congress management, I would like to be the part of it. And if you decide to take me on board, I'm the one who is ready.
Why not? Whenever you want, whenever. Okay, so thank you to you also. It was nice to meet you, to communicate with you. I'm really happy. So have a nice day. Hope to see you again. Okay.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year.
To you also, thank you, and tell my best regards to your wife also.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My pleasure. Happy New Year. Bye bye.
Bye bye.